Thanks for joining us at half-time, and the score currently stands Manchester City 0, Manchester United 1 at the Etihad. Here to get into that first half is Joleon, Lescott and David James. David, not the first half I think any of us were hoping for, in particular not the opening 2 minutes. What has been your assessment of those 45 minutes?
Well, I'm a big fan of you can score too early. So Man United scoring early isn't a problem.
Nice.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm sat here. This is something I talk about a lot, that no one sets out to score in the first 2 minutes. And the way that first half panned out was more in line with what we expected Manchester City to do, have a lot of possession, opportunities. Yes, we want to see goals. But if that continues the second half, Man City win the game. So.
That's what I needed to hear, to be honest, David. I'll be honest. I really needed something. Joleon, it was a quick start, and unfortunately, it wasn't for us. It was for them. It's tough, isn't it, to concede a penalty so early on?
Oh yeah, it's never nice to concede it early on, and I think that's probably one of his strengths. His biggest downfall, Jesus, is that he's too eager at times. If that's the last minute and he's back there trying to win it back, I understand. But the first minute, trying to recover the ball on the edge of our box, I don't know what led to that. I don't remember seeing anything that made me think he should be back there. You know what I mean? So again, it's not the ideal start, but after that, like JMO said, the game settled down and we picked up a bit more rhythm to it. And as long as we kind of are careful, because we can see Rashford making them runs in, and we know he's frustrated that they're not playing the balls and they want to get him in behind. So as long as they can kind of nullify that, we should be okay.
We did, as you both said there, we grew into the game, David. And then was there enough signs for you watching the first half play out after the penalty to say that we can maybe come back in the second half here and get those all important 2 goals?
Well, so both sides are going to have a plan going into the game, Pep and Ollie. And what I saw was what I'd assume Pep's plan was. So it's kind of, as long as you stick to the plan that you think and we would expect Manchester City to adopt to win the game, as long as you stick to that plan, you're going to score goals, multiple goals, arguably. And that's, as I say, growing in. Take away the goal. This might sound a little bit funny, but take away the goal, then you wouldn't have expected Man City to score in the first 2 minutes themselves. So it would have been a slow build into the game. Bruno Fernandes has hardly done anything. The odd time he gets a bit of freedom, as we expected, he can set things up. The penalty, just to go on to the goal, I felt for Ederson. And when you watch the I'm sure there'll be commentators out there saying that he got a good hand to it and he'll be disappointed. But there's a little bit of dip on the ball. So everything I'm seeing, taking away the goal, is what I expected to see.
Yeah.
I just hope that Pep isn't going to go mad in there thinking, I mean, I don't know what his plan was to the letter, but I hope he's not going mad with the players saying that that they haven't done the right things. Like you said, Jesus being over enthusiastic and giving away the penalty wouldn't have been in anyone's plan, but the rest of it seemed to be okay.
As we kind of went into that second half, there was a few chances. We had that real close one there at the end from Jesus, and I think a couple of times, I think Mahrez when he brought the ball across, a few chances. It just doesn't seem to have quite found that final killer pass that we used to find in.
Yeah,
do you attribute that to anything at all, Joleon?
Just, you've got to respect that this is a good team they're playing against. This is an average Premier League team, the top players. And if you look at the numbers, there's a swarm of red in their own box. So that is a good thing for us, is that we're obviously pinning them back, but also we need to recognise we're going to need more personnel ourselves in there to kind of find space and create something. So I'm sure Pep's going to be encouraging players to get forward, because it's only real Jesus making the run in behind. We've seen the last chance when he hits the post, but there's no one else breaking the neck to get in there and get on the end of it. So just more personnel. More
personnel. And if we're talking of personnel, David, where do you think we would be looking to? Straight up, no questions.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I'm not, and I don't want to contradict myself, but what I saw was what I expected, in the sense that Man City had a lot of possession, more chances. I'm trying to think. Ederson made one save. I think it was one save, to his right. But the quality of passing isn't the level that Manchester City have been producing, not throughout the whole run, but for the majority of this run. And I just think someone needs to go on there. Phil Foden, he excites me when he goes on a football pitch, whether he's starting or coming on. His quality of passing, if he can reproduce the sort of form which we're all raving about, that will be the difference to unlocking Manchester United.
And we've seen it before. We've seen it early in the season against West Ham. He came on and he changed the game, one man of the match. And I don't think it doesn't mean anything to the lads that have started, but being a City fan, coming on and thinking his manager's brought me on to change the derby. That's a different feel, you know what I mean? So it just may be the key.
I think the question is, who's he come on for?
No, that was going to where you just you did my job for me there.
I mean, listen, Kevin De Bruyne for one, from that first half performance, and maybe Kevin isn't fully up to match speed. I mean, he's had a long injury, so that's understandable. It's not a criticism of him as a player, but as I say, it's just someone who's going to get on the ball and make things happen.
Yeah.
Even Jesus, if you take him out and we talk about that number 9 role, Jesus is playing the number 9 role today. When I like Man City without a number 9, I like them to be unpredictable.
Because I think that's when we've seen the best of him, when they haven't had a number 9, and he's literally just been able to run freely. And with the extra midfielder in there, they all recognise to fill the spaces, and when they can rotate between the 3 of them or 4 of them.
Yeah. The other thing I kind of wanted to ask is, we've touched upon that false 9 there, but then without that comes no Sergio Aguero and Joleon. I know we kind of say, I mean, is he one maybe you'd look to if we're still needing the goal or to get the winner possibly?
I'm off. That's it. There's never going to be a time when I'm never going to want to pick Sergio Aguero. You know what I mean? So there's never a doubt in mind he comes on and and we've seen him in this fixture numerous times. I remember the one at Old Trafford. He literally was sitting on the bench and he's told to warm up. He went out there and stretched for 3 minutes watching the game, and then they said, "You're going on." He went on and scored. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much for him to score goals. And if it's a tight game as it is, and you're only going to get 1 or 2 clear-cut chances, you want it to fall to him.
Another thing I wanted to ask you both about: will it be being said in the City dressing room now, Harry Maguire on a yellow card? Is it time for you to start trying to be a nuisance, or does that kind of get in the way of the game plan?
I hope so. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to win a game of football, and you're not cheating by getting someone booked, but they have to be booked for the right reasons. But play on it. I mean, I was talking about Lindelof, and I know Joleon likes him, but he's not a bad player, and it wasn't about that. But no one's really been isolated yet. We're talking about Jesus and whether Aguero would be a better fit, possibly. But if you're not going to get the ball to either of them, it doesn't matter who's there, and that's the issue. I think you need to get someone isolated.
I don't think the fullbacks will allow him to, though. I don't think Wan-Bissaka or Shaw will go so wide. You're running out of centre half. I think they're perfectly poised to say, you know what, let it go wide, because in respect, that's Wan-Bissaka's strength. Going out to Sterling and being 1v1 or Lindelof being 1v1, you want Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, but Jesus could. I mean, I'm just again looking at first half, the amount of times that the ball goes into their front, and he almost reacts to it rather than expects it. And if you've got Phil Foden, for example, sort of playing in a more loose role, he'll be in a position expecting the ball. Then you get isolated one-on-one. If you've got to come out of position to tackle me, I'm going to draw a foul. When I played on front for Man City, I didn't draw any foul. I fouled
from all your
else.
outfield experience. I know we kind of don't get the luxury of all the replays at home, and it did get checked by VAR. Penalty on Sterling.
I'm struggling to see. Here. I think if that's on the halfway line, you get a free kick.
It feels that way.
I just don't know how it's not even looked at by the ref. For them to say it's not clear and obvious, and to think, well, it's gone through his legs and he hasn't touched the ball and he stopped Sterling from getting there. We see that obstruction so many times anywhere else in the pitch, and it's a free kick. So.
Tricky.
Well, I struggle because there's incidents, and Man United have benefited from this, where something's happened which was a foul, and then the game has continued to play for 30 seconds. I think Man United had one earlier on in the season where it actually went out of play, and it was so far ahead of when the goal went in that it was too far to go back to. And you wonder what happened there, because it was about 30 seconds to a minute before the ball went out of play. If I'm playing and I think it's a penalty, the first thing I do is either kick the ball for a throw-in or get a foul. And then we'd understand. But it looked like a foul for us. Even the replay looked like a foul. We're not in VAR.
No, unfortunately not. All to play for then in the second half. Well, before we kind of go to that, let's just take a moment to forget about the first half for a second and talk about Guess the Blue. Because, David, I know you had we've had 2 guesses here. Let's remind ourselves what it is. Remember, hashtag WNRH is how you can send your guesses in on Twitter.
And we're not announcing it now after the game.
We'll reveal after the game, but what are your guesses then? Are we thinking?
I've got 2.
I'm going for it.
Go on.
I like that shout now. It makes more sense.
Can I say it?
Yeah,
I'm going for Paolo One-Shot.
Oh, what a player. Nice. Joleon, you kind of aligning yourself with that?
Gelson Fernandes.
Gelson Fernandes for Joleon. Okay. All right, it's interesting. They're talking to me in my ear. I won't reveal. I will reveal all though at full time. So do come join us, and thank you as well. We've had the Lankman on Twitter who's getting in touch to say that they're Derby ready. Also love that little Manchester City onesie kit there on your little one. Thomas has said, listen, when you have church at 8 a.m. but kick-off is at 8:30 a.m. He's rushed back to get there in time. And we also had when we were asking you for key players, Aaron actually said Cancelo for him is going to be the big difference. So he's got 45 minutes hopefully to do that and get us back level and hopefully secure us a winner as well. So come join myself, David and Joleon at full time, and fingers crossed we'll be talking about a Manchester City win. Come on, City.